15 years ago, Green Lantern hit theatres and became such a legendary disaster that Ryan Reynolds spent the next decade making jokes about it in his own superhero movies.
You're welcome.
Nobody expected DC to touch this character again anytime soon. HBO just made a show about him that opens like a rural crime drama, spends most of its time investigating a murder in Nebraska, and barely feels like a superhero property at all. And it might be the best thing this DC universe has produced. Here's the setup. Hal Jordan, played by Kyle Chandler, is a veteran Green Lantern, one of the first humans ever recruited into the intergalactic police force known as the Green Lantern Corps. Jon Stewart, played by Pierre, is the new recruit assigned to work alongside him. Together they're pulled into a dark, Earth-based mystery investigating a series of deaths in rural Nebraska that turns out to be connected to something much bigger than either of them expected. That's it. That's the pitch. No universe-ending threat in the first episode, no parade of cameos, just two mismatched cops working a murder case that happens to occasionally involve cosmic rings that can create anything the wearer can imagine. The creative team here is genuinely stacked. Chris Mundy, who ran Ozark, is the showrunner. Damon Lindelof, who made Watchmen one of the best television adaptations of a comic book ever produced, is a co-creator. And Tom King, one of the most acclaimed writers in modern DC Comics, rounds out the trio. The show is structured across 3 different time periods, 1996, 2016 and 2026, following Jon Stewart's life and the friendship between Hal and Jon as it develops and eventually fractures. It's explicitly built in the mold of true detective, and for the most part, it earns that comparison. Let me tell you what this show gets genuinely right, because there's real, unexpected craft here. Kyle Chandler and Pierre are exceptional together. Chandler plays Hal as abrasive and instinctual, the kind of guy who shoots first and figures out the rest later. Pierre plays Jon with an unnerving calm that the show spends several episodes slowly explaining, and the tension between those two temperaments does a lot of heavy lifting. It's structured almost like an old-fashioned buddy-cop dynamic, but given real weight by the fact that Jon Stewart's race is treated as genuinely central to his character, not a detail the show glosses past. Several reviewers pointed out how the show pays off the electric chemistry Chandler shares with Kelly Macdonald as well, in ways that are genuinely surprising by the season's end. What's most impressive is how confidently Lanterns defies expectations. Consequence called the pilot funny, gripping, and twist-filled, dropping you straight into an unexplained series of deaths in rural Nebraska with almost no superhero throat clearing. RogerEbert.com praised the show for anchoring superhero storytelling to the human condition instead of spectacle. Chandler and Pierre's dynamic works almost like an old-fashioned buddy action comedy, given how differently the two actors play their registers. And the supporting cast is stacked in ways that keep paying off. Poorna Jagannathan reportedly steals entire scenes. Linney shows up as one of the alien guardians and brings a genuinely gleeful, unhinged energy to playing something inhuman wearing a human face. This is a show that keeps changing direction just when you think you've figured out what kind of series it wants to be, which fittingly is exactly what a power ring that can create anything you imagine should feel like. Now here's where I have to be honest, because even the show's biggest supporters have real reservations. Time magazine's review puts it as clearly as anyone. Lanterns is better than most superhero shows, but it's no Watchmen, and that comparison is unavoidable given Lindelof's involvement, and given how directly this show is borrowing Watchmen's strategy of folding the fantastic into a recognizable, grounded real world. It gets close. It doesn't quite reach the show's specific alchemy of political weight and formal daring, and for viewers going in expecting another Watchmen, that gap will be noticeable. There's also a real risk in how hard the show resists being a conventional superhero show. TV Guide called it a tough series to fit into any genre, and while that's mostly a strength, it does mean some episodes feel closer to a slow-burn prestige crime drama than anything explicitly comic book related, which could easily frustrate viewers who came specifically for Green Lantern spectacle. If you're hoping for a show that leans into cosmic ring battles and alien corps world-building early and often, you may find yourself waiting a while. It's also worth knowing this show had a rocky road to air. Originally planned for early 2026, delayed to a late summer release amid a DC universe that, let's be honest, has had a shaky year. Superman was a hit. Supergirl was a genuine disappointment. Lanterns arrives with the pressure of proving this universe can still deliver, and it's fair to wonder whether some of the show's unconventional choices are compensating for a franchise trying to find its footing. Here's where I land. Lanterns is exactly the show this DC universe needed after Supergirl stumbled. It's patient, confident, and led by two genuinely great performances from Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre. It's willing to spend its first episodes investigating a rural murder mystery instead of front-loading spectacle, trusting that the cosmic elements will land harder once you actually care about these two men and their fractured friendship. That's a real bet, and mostly, it pays off. It's not Watchmen. It doesn't have that show's singular political urgency or formal ambition, and going in expecting Lindelof to repeat that exact lightning in a bottle will leave you slightly disappointed. But taken on its own terms, as a grounded, true detective-style mystery that happens to have alien police officers with reality-warping rings in it, this is genuinely excellent television, and some of the strongest work this DCU has done across film or TV. I'm giving Lanterns a 7 out of 10. Go in patient. Let it be a crime drama for a while. The Green Lantern stuff is worth the wait. Like the video if this helped, subscribe for weekly reviews, and tell me in the comments, after Superman, Supergirl, and now Lanterns, where do you actually rank this new DC universe so far? See you next time.